Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and continuing on with the Halloweenish reviews on the weekends. Yes. So that's right, guys. You read the title, you know what I'm reviewing next, and as was clearly teased in the last review video, I'm sure, how could you not figure it out? Something Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, duh. And yeah, and also because wearing this shirt on this occasion. Yeah, so that's right, guys. One of the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command episodes that I am now about to review is something that has to do with vampires and so on. And in the case of a robotic space vampire, whom was named after the silent movie vampire NOS-4-A2. He was created in Zurg's evil lab. This was his debut in the show. His entrance and all that, where Buzz and his rookies, his fellow teammates, Team Lightyear, would first have a confrontation between this robotics energy space vampire. And yes, guys, this being episode 6, episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, which being titled NOS-4-A2. Yes, the titled character himself, NOS-4-A2. Yeah, now, obviously, because when it comes to anything Halloweenish from Buzz Lightyear Star Command, well, the biggest ones, of course, would have to be the ones with, say, Wirewolf. But, come on, those aren't the only ones, because any episode that has to do with NOS-4-A2, or any other few episodes of Buzz Lightyear that seems Halloweenish, appropriate to watch because of horror and all that, scariness, yeah. So in the case of NOS-4-A2, and, you know, again, this is the first episode where NOS-4-A2 makes his debut, before he would most prominently turn one of the Space Rangers of Star Command, Ty Parsec, into Wirewolf. Yeah, this is before. And, yeah, because with what the first episode that features NOS-4-A2, what it has in store and all that, well, of course, it's really good. And I'm sure, as most of you know, because, you know, I was one of those, and I'm sure the same goes for you, having grown up, watched Buzz Lightyear of Star Command during the good old days of the Disney TV animated shows, and back when Toon Disney was a thing, and the good old days of Disney Channel, all of that, and, yeah, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command being one of my jams. Yeah. However, because, yeah, you know, the way I watched Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, I'm sure the same goes for most of you, all the episodes just airing on TV in random order and such, you know what I'm saying? In random, basically. So, as I recall, yeah, the very first episode of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command I ever watched that has NOS-4-A2 was the Wirewolf one, yeah. And a little later, of course, I did watch this one, so, because, I think, yeah, it was one of those episodes that was recorded on VHS tape. I had a few VHS tapes of, of episodes that were recorded, so, yeah, and I'm pretty sure this was in there somewhere, but yeah. But yeah, the debut episode of NOS-4-A2, with what it has in store, what goes down in this episode, their first discovery of NOS-4-A2 in this strange box that may have something to do, linked with Zurg himself, which turns out to be the case. Not to mention, XR has a prominent part in this episode with what goes on with him, and him being linked with NOS-4-A2, being under his control and all that. XR serving as NOS-4-A2's servant and all that. And NOS-4-A2's attempt to control Star Command, and of course, the attempt for Zurg to take over the entire galaxy. Yeah. Yeah, just, you know, overall. Episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, NOS-4-A2, it's a really good one. Definitely. The debut of NOS-4-A2, yeah, enjoyable, of course. Okay, so, with the first things I've had to say about Episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, NOS-4-A2 now out of the way, now as always, for me, read the description / the story and the plot and such. Yeah, right here. After Team Lightyear rescues a mysterious box from a cargo freighter that is under attack by Warp Dark Matter, Zurg's top henchman, they bring the box back to Star Command, unaware that they are actually falling right into Zurg's evil trap. The box contains a robotic energy vampire named NOS-4-A2, who was created by Zurg to destroy Star Command using his ability to control any machine he bites, including XR. Okay, now with reading the description / the story out of the way, the plot, the summaries, and I think I pronounced that right, yeah. Alright, let's dive in / break down the episode itself. Okay, so, well, yeah, because with the opening of this episode, because with a freighter en route, and by the way, because the autopilot, being called AP-99, being voiced by Homer Simpson / Krusty the Clown himself, Dan Castellaneta. You know, just on a routine trip and with some cargo / shipment, and of course Warp Dark Matter stepping in, and Warp Dark Matter being voiced by good old Dietrich Bader, claiming the cargo and all that, but of course Team Lightyear stepping in to confront and stop Warp Dark Matter and the Hornets, Zurg's robots, and yeah, Team Lightyear trying to capture and place Dark Matter under arrest. And, you know, just the interactions between Dark Matter and Team Lightyear, Mira, of course, Nicole Sullivan, Booster, the late Stephen Furst, and XR being voiced by Larry Miller. And keep in mind, because XR has had 2 voice actors in the show, and I'm sure you know whom the other is that voiced XR. So in this episode, it's Larry Miller, yeah. The prominent main voice of XR. Yeah, most of the time. But anyways, and, you know, Dark Matter, like, kind of insulting them and most prominently calling XR the tin toy. I wonder if that's, and yeah, maybe, or a coincidence, like a, kind of a reference to tin toy, you know, tinny? I don't know, probably not, but anyways. And again, their attempt to try to capture Dark Matter, and once Buzz and Mira, well, they go to try to stop Dark Matter, Booster and XR, they've got it from here, taking care of the rest of the Hornets on board the ship. Well, at one point, Dark Matter whips out what is outlawed from the Galactic Alliance, the plasma cannon. Yep, it's against the law to use it in the galaxy and such, and, you know, in the Galactic Alliance. And, yeah, Dark Matter using it to destroy Buzz and Mira. But when that bolt, you know, was about to hit him, well, this mysterious box, it actually stops that plasma cannon torpedo, and that box sucks it in. And, this box is very interesting. Like, what's this about? And, well, eventually Dark Matter and the remaining Hornets, they retreat, and, well, with the ship about to explode, they collect only that box, and XR, he saves the autopilot, AP-99. I think it's 99? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. AP-99. Yeah, good on AP-99 surviving. Not to mention that we would see him once again getting to some more shenanigans and such where his ship gets boarded and such. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's the same one. But, yeah, so saving the box, which, you know, took what was from the plasma cannon, and AP-99, well, unfortunately, and when Commander Nebula asks if, you know, and recommends they should check the black box from AP-99, well, it got burned and destroyed. However, XR, you know, hopefully he can manage to check out and learn about what this box is. And, you know, at times in the show, XR calling Commander Nebula dad and such, and Nebula denying this, that, you know, I'm not your dad, but, well, he signed the papers for the LGMs to proceed on building the first robotic space ranger. Yeah, and of course, Commander Nebula, have to acknowledge, Adam Carolla. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but again, you know me sometimes. Yeah. And also, yeah, because we also know him best as the voice of Death from Family Guy, and amongst others he's done. Anyways, so Nebula, having XR, to check out the box for anything and such, but also he puts Buzz under a mission to do a performance evaluation on XR, and to prove that, he's doing his job right as a Space Ranger and all that. But if not, then Nebula's gonna pull the plug on XR. Jeez, and I mean, sure, yeah, because XR has his moments, not just say Commander Nebula, but with the rest of Team Lightyear, but he's still a loyal, faithful Space Ranger, without a doubt. Yeah, because it really shows at times that he really cares and so on. But even when he could sometimes be goofy and such, still, So yeah, XR examining and checking out the box. However, the box awakens, and, well, we just so happen to see our first glimpse of NOS-4-A2, and XR had a blackout and such, he passed out, but when Booster came in to check on him, well, XR's fine, but not exactly. We can see 2 bite marks on XR, and, well, that means that, yeah, he's been bitten by the energy robotic space vampire, NOS-4-A2. And also, there was a moment between Dark Matter and Zurg, because apparently Zurg allowed for all of this to happen for Buzz and the rest of his team to claim that box. And yeah, letting Dark Matter just let them get away with it and all that, because, well, Zurg knows what he's doing. Dark Matter doesn't, but he knows. So, yeah. And Dark Matter was worried how Zurg would react to this, but nope. The total opposite what he was expecting how Zurg to react, but yeah, very rare and such for Zurg to react in that way. That he's pleased that, yeah, it happened, and because, well, Zurg has a plan. And of course, have to acknowledge good old Wayne Knight as the voice of Zurg. Yeah. By the way, did you guys know that apparently Pixar, they really got a kick out of Wayne Knight's voice performance as Zurg? Maybe some of you know about that. I'm just saying, because it's true. Yeah, just thought I'd mention that. But anyways, when Team Lightyear makes their way back to Star Command and they do more with the box, they put it on, they put it in a force field, because, well, with whatever this box contains, it's not good and possibly linked with Zurg, which turns out to be the case. And XR is being recharged and such, and then when the LGMs, they call it a night, and that box still there, well, it comes alive again. NOS-4-A2 rising from his coffin in that box, and NOS-4-A2, to now mention whom voices the energy robotic space vampire, good old Craig Ferguson. Yes. That's really awesome, because, Craig Ferguson being the voice of NOS-4-A2. Don't you think? Just, yeah. So, NOS-4-A2 has awakened and summons XR to awake and to follow his, and to obey his commands, to lower the force field, which he does so. Now, NOS-4-A2 can proceed with taking over Star Command, starting with the communications network and from there on. Not to mention at one point, and Booster being best friends with XR, he's worried if by any chance XR will be shut down, if this doesn't turn out great. And, well, Buzz, he's trying his best, but looking through the logs and everything that XR's done, not very good, being clumsy and not making a good impression, yeah. But hopefully there can be something that Buzz can find, if he manages to, and, prove that XR is a loyal and truthful Space Ranger. But then at one point, all of that gets interrupted when, apparently, all the Space Rangers are called in, red alert, because Zurg is out there near Star Command, his reinforcements and all that. Trouble outside of Star Command. All the Space Rangers, they get into their Star Cruisers, blast off. Buzz and Mira, they leave Booster behind accidentally, but they gotta proceed. But it turns out that it's not Commander Nebula whom is giving that emergency report, ordering all the Space Rangers to blast off into space. Because, no, we see at one point Nebula and a couple of LGMs And by the way, because the LGM's being voiced by Patrick Warburton, and whom also is the voice of the titled character Buzz Lightyear. They're playing cards, and Nebula realizing that, yeah, he's hearing his own voice, but it's not actually him. And, well, now they're trapped. Whom is still on Star Command is trapped and held hostage by NOS-4-A2 and XR, his henchman. Yep, so XR, whom is now under the command of NOS-4-A2, they take control of Star Command, and yeah, from there on, and until, you know, Zurg would make his arrival, and from there on. And, yeah, and the interactions, like, say, at one point between NOS-4-A2 and Zurg is pretty good, and, you know, that NOS-4-A2 has full control of Star Command and, you know, what Zurg will do next, and from there on, and they both start to laugh, then XR joins in, and it's not every day, because you'd hear a word like this in a children's cartoon, right, where XR, you know, jumps in and says, "Can we make it a threesome?" And, like, and yeah, why not? All three of us will laugh, just, yeah. But again, the word threesome in a children's animated cartoon show, like, I'm just saying, because it's not every day you hear a word like that, but anyways. But yeah, and, well, when all the Space Rangers, they've made their destination, there's nothing going on. It's very quiet in one part of the galaxy they're in, but, you know, supposedly Nebula talking on the communications network, you know, interacting with Buzz, that, you know, the computer analyzed that there's trouble, and, you know, always trust the computer. Buzz quickly realizes that's not Commander Nebula, and then then he and Mira makes their way back to Star Command immediately, yeah, making their way back, and, well, when they arrive, because, yeah, it doesn't take too long for them to have their first encounter with NOS-4-A2, and Buzz, not really impressed, not amused and such. Yeah, not surprised by the appearance of NOS-4-A2. And when XR steps in, yeah, trying to, you know, take on Buzz, at one point NOS-4-A2 grabbed Mira, bit on her suit, which would lead to, apparently, and that goes for all the other Space Ranger suits, become spacesuit zombies. They come to life on their own. Interesting. And, yeah, and the battle's on, and trying to regain control of Star Command again. And, you know, Booster, at one point, he got Nebula and the LGMs out of the one room they were in playing cards. The doors were locked, and Booster managed to do so, and with Commander Nebula's help, and, yeah. And Nebula, trying to gain access back to the station, he does a little bit, but not entirely. And up to the climax, and where, yeah, NOS-4-A2 and Buzz Lightyear, they go at it, while Nebula and Mira, they take on the spacesuit zombies. And Mira, she makes it very clear to Booster and Nebula when they, for the first time, see XR, you know, evil and under NOS-4-A2's commands, because, well, when NOS-4-A2 bites a machine, they're helpless. So, yeah, that being the case for XR, because, yeah, he's helpless. Like, there's nothing he can do. He's really under the powerful control of NOS-4-A2. However, when it comes to Booster and XR, Booster attempting to, you know, get XR to snap out of it, remember who he is, find that paper that Nebula signed where, yeah, the LGMs could proceed building him. So, yeah, trying to find it inside of his chest compartment, and, yeah, eventually he would do so. And thus, XR regains consciousness, no longer under NOS-4-A2's control, and thus, he defeats NOS-4-A2, draining his power, shutting him off, and, yeah, that right there, it shows and proves to Commander Nebula that XR is indeed a truthful/loyal Space Ranger. Yeah. Even Buzz, you know, saying that that's going in my log, and Nebula's like, nah, forget the log. This, you know, I saw it right there and then. Just, yeah, pretty much. And XR once again calling him Dad. Yeah. And then, a little later, and the last thing we get in the episode is, well, Zurg hoping to finally, you know, get control and rule the galaxy and take down the Galactic Alliance. But nope, because, yep, Buzz, along with XR, once again did it. And, yep, not today, Zurg. And XR, he gave Zurg the raspberry. And, they ask Buzz if we should, turn off the communications channel, wait for it, and yeah, he wanted to hear Zurg say his iconic line, "Curse you, Buzz Lightyear!" Yep. And yep, Buzz, he never gets tired of hearing that. Yep, because like Buzz has said, evil never wins. Yeah. And just hearing the villains, be upset and cry out because they've been defeated, yeah, that's music to Buzz's ears. I guess you could say, but yeah. And all that's left to do is for them to hop on Star Cruiser 42, go on another adventure, and Buzz saying, "To infinity and beyond." Of course. Great way to end off that episode. Yeah, so episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, NOS-4-A2. A really good episode, and this being the debut of the title character, NOS-4-A2. It's a good one. From the storyline, the debut/entrance of NOS-4-A2, what goes on Star Command when NOS-4-A2 gains control of Star Command, helping out Zurg in order to try to take over the galaxy, and XR under NOS-4-A2's command, really interesting, and also the spacesuit zombies, really good. Also, because when Nebula and Mira, they were taking on those zombie spacesuits, this is really cool where we see Commander Nebula use his peg leg as a weapon. It's a weapon. Like, it shoots blaster bolts. That's really cool. The music and score was really good, especially the music that goes along with NOS-4-A2. It's really good. Yeah, the music from Buzz Lightyear Star Command was really good and so memorable, without a doubt. Great voice acting in this, and most prominently, Craig Ferguson voicing NOS-4-A2 and everybody else, and the animation, fantastic, of course. Just everything about Episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, NOS-4-A2, a good one. And yeah, I'm giving Episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, NOS-4-A2, well, what the heck, 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for Episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, NOS-4-A2. And what about you guys? What did you think of the 6th episode of Season 1 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command itself, NOS-4-A2? Which was the first episode of Buzz Lightyear Star Command you ever watched that features NOS-4-A2? Was it this one, or, say, Wirewolf, or one of the others? Yeah. What are your fondest memories of Buzz Lightyear Star Command itself, and on account of this episode? Do you remember seeing this episode when it was on TV? Or, I'm sure, yeah, you could find it, of course, on anywhere on the internet. And, yeah, favorite moments to come from this episode. Is NOS-4-A2 one of your top favorite villains of Buzz Lightyear Star Command? And, yeah, and if this episode's one of your top favorite episodes of the show itself, yeah. But overall, what do you think of the 6th episode of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, NOS-4-A2, with what all I've had to say, my review, and yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, guys, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Episode 6 of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, NOS-4-A2. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward. And I will see you guys in the next video / review. And, well, of course, continuing on with the Halloweenish reviews on the weekends. Stay tuned, because what I will be reviewing next, it is something else Disney. Something else Disney TV animated and such. Yeah, Disney TV animation. And something else science fiction. And let's just say, Experiment 626 comes face to face with one of his cousins, whom is spooky. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, just again, stay tuned for that. Take care, peace out, and to infinity and beyond!